Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am here doing a flip through of my February Franken Planner. So it's another month done and ready to be flipped through. For the month of February, I did set up my Franken Planner into one system. So if you don't know, a Franken Planner is where you combine multiple planners into one. And so I did do that. I combined most of my planners into one. I have two other planners off to the side that I'll also flip through in this month. And those are my work and social media planners. I don't Franken plan them into this planner just because this is a classic size and those two other planners are big sizes. I also in this video do not flip through my girls' memory books. That is just a separate project and I don't consider it part of my functional planning system. And so today I'm going to be flipping through, like I said, my Franken planner, which is mostly housed here, as well as two big planners that I use. So let's get into it. So for the month of February, I did decide to combine all of the classic size pages into one. And so I set it up on this Work Plus Life planner, which is, the covers that you can get from the Happy Planner. I did keep it to this size, even though it's very, very full. I think you can kind of see it's like very full in there. But it did fit the entire month. So I'm excited about that. I am going to flip through every single page, but some of the pages I might have to blur out just because there is private or personal information. So just kind of giving you that heads up. So one of the first things that I added to the planner, besides setting it up, was these new dividers that I got. So I did pick up these dividers from Amazon. It comes with a set of like side dividers as well as top tab dividers. And I decided to use the side tab dividers to separate each section. So this first section here is my chores section. I did not do a great job in February of filling it out. I don't use the monthly, as you can see here. So I did fill it out, but mostly it was like kind of me reading through the challenges that I complete as part of the Declutter 365 challenge. It's a daily decluttering challenge, and I don't necessarily feel like my house is needs a decluttering. I really just want to focus on the organization of it. And some of these, like this week was recipes. I don't really meal plan. This one was trash and home recycling. I feel like I have a good system for that already. So I was mostly just reading through it just to kind of see if there were any new ideas, but mostly it was not. Like this one was coupons. I don't coupon at all. I'm pretty sure this week was meal planning. I haven't read through it yet, as you can see here. And then I don't even know what this week was. So there were 2 weeks in February that I missed. At some point, I'll go back in and read through those. We're finishing out the kitchen. So it's going to be, like I said, meal planning. I think there is something related to, actually, I don't even know. I think I feel meal planning was the last of it. And so we're moving into a different area of the house. And so I need to pick it back up because I feel like the kitchen, to me, I'm not like a domestic goddess. I don't really spend a ton of time in the kitchen, really. And most of what I do is like convenience kind of cooking. So I will microwave, air fry, do that type of stuff. Every once in a while, I'll do a casserole or something like that. But I rarely turn on the stove. So the kitchen was, just it's not my forte. But moving into some of the other areas, I definitely need some work there. So I need to pick that back up. So that was the chores planner that I use. I do use the Simply layout. And again, I do use like a challenge, the Declutter 365 challenge. And I just kind of write or journal in these sections what I did each week or each day. But yeah, that I feel like that was a fail, but I want to get back into it and try to pick back up with the challenge. I don't want to give up on it. So the second section is my budget planner. I do use this planner. It's the Solite. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but it's this budget planner. I will link it in the description. I did purchase it off Amazon. It came spiral bound, but I did cut it off the coils in order to make it disc bound, as you can see here. And let me flip through some of the beginning pages here. So here is my annual budget. I won't blur it out. It's just literally my numbers. I need to go back in and fill the numbers for March. What I decided to use this page for was my annual budget and how it might change over time. So for the first few months, I've kept my budget the same each month. And so I just basically use the same number January, February, and March. But going into April, going into June or July, especially, I might want to recalibrate my budget and change the numbers that I like kind of designate for each category. And so that's kind of what I use this for, is just to track what I budget each month. Right, and then this one is my bill tracker. It's really messy. I'll blur out the numbers here, but basically I list all of my different categories of where I pull in money, so all of my income as well as all of my expenses, mostly bills, things that are automated and things that are for the house. So that's kind of what I list here. And what I do is just make sure that it gets pulled out of my account. So I did it for February, as you can see here, and I just have it set up for the rest of the year as well. And again, I'll have to blur some of that out just because it's, my actual numbers and I don't really want that in here. I never filled out the savings goal here, but this is one of the beginning pages of the budget planner that I got from Amazon. And this one I will have to blur out, but this is a savings tracker. It's just money that I don't actually use it as a savings tracker. It's just me calculating some money owed, basically. So I'll have to blur that out. Then this one is listed as a debt tracker. I'm very lucky and totally blessed to be able to say that I don't really carry a ton of debt. So this debt is actually, I don't even use it as a debt tracker. I basically use it to track when I need to pull money out of our joint account as a family into my personal account, or more likely where I need to transfer money from my personal account into our joint account, just because I under deposit in our joint account and over deposit into my account. So I like to do the manual balancing of how much I need to transfer into our joint account for the family. And so that's kind of where I do some of these numbers. There's nothing like too wild and crazy here, but I will blur this out. It's just basically, all the monies that I just need to transfer back and forth. All right, and so that is the end of all the yearly pages. I do transfer these pages from month to month. And now that in March, I'm not really using any kind of paper planner, these will go back into my budget planner and just sit there to be used for March, but also just to be used for later months like April going forward. So this is the beginning of the actual monthly. I did at some point when I set up the budget planner, I did put a divider in here to separate, but I don't really need that. Since this is only the month of February, I didn't put the divider in here, but I just use a set of dividers from the Happy Planner to kind of mark the different months. But to start off, the monthly is the budget. This is literally the same budget that you saw earlier in the annual budget. I do budgeting a little bit differently in that I do carry rollover money. So it's set up very similar to a cash envelope. So any money that I had left over from January, I rolled over into this dollar amount. So the numbers here are different in the sense of they're different pennies and or cents values. So here Sophia had $20 that I budgeted for her in February, but she also carried over $7.12. So her total budgeted for the month of February is $27.12. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't see anything too wild in here, so I will show you these numbers. But then moving into the calendar was actually, this is something I need to go back and do for January and February. I wanted to try to track all of the things that I spend for planner supplies. So I feel like at this point, it's just a hobby, but I also want to track how much I spend for all the things that I do that is planner related, just because sometimes I can go a little bit crazy with spending and buying a ton of things that I don't really need. I have the money for it and I do budget for that, but I also want to be aware of what I'm spending. So I'm not putting myself on a no spend or anything like that, but I definitely want to be aware of how much I'm spending so that way I don't go over a certain dollar amount. And I don't really even know what the dollar amount is, honestly. I just don't want to overspend on planner supplies. So that's what I have kind of designated this for. I just have never filled it out, but I will go back in. I do track my day-to-day spending, as you can see here. So I just go back in and will note where planner supplies get pulled out and just kind of make a note at the bottom of how much I spent each month on planner supplies. This income tracker, I just don't even use this. I do have the bill tracker that I showed earlier in the the yearly pages, and I just use that. So I don't really even use this. And then for February, I did decide to use the daily expenses or the log here, and I just track what I spent. So it's the date, the details, the category, and then the amount, and all of this just kind of flows from all of the other pages. The check mark here is when I actually pull it out of my cash envelopes. So I want to be aware of how much is in each envelope. And I do use a kind of a faux cash envelope. They are cash envelopes, but I don't put real money into it. I put fake money in there just to be able to track how much I have in each category. And I only basically use the front and back of that sheet. So I feel like I have an extra sheet here that I can use for something. And then right here, I have a monthly budget review. I will actually fill this out. I forgot that I didn't do this, but I'm going to go in and fill out this. It says budget balance from last month, total income, total expense, the difference between those $2, those $2 amounts, and then the total saving for the month, and then balance forward, how much do I have to carry into March. And then this one says, where did I have the most trouble in terms of my budget? Where could I improve this month? What could I improve this month? I would say next month for March. And then what goals can I set for next month? And I just kind of journal about my budget. Most of my budgeting is for my house, but then of course I have some of it that's just for my personal use, and so that is there. And then the very back I will have to blur out. Actually, I don't know if I do because I just covered it up really nicely. But this back envelope, I basically put all of our house bills. So I did decide at the beginning of 2024, end of 2023, to revert back to like paper printing and receiving our house bills on paper, just to be able to have a record of it. And so what I do is put them into these pockets. My goal is to collect a 12-month period, and then as I move into like the next year, I can just kind of toss the like this is for February. I'll toss last February 2023 out and just put the February 2024 bill in there. So I have a full 12 months, but it just kind of rotates. So that's kind of what I'm doing for budget, and that works out for me. And yeah, I think that's it for budget. As I'm going through this, if there's anything that you have questions about, feel free to leave a comment and just let me know and ask questions, because I'm more than happy to answer any questions about my system. I've been using the same system for a while now, so I feel like it's pretty straightforward, but I think it's straightforward. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's straightforward for anyone else. So definitely ask questions if you have any. So this third section is my faith section. I am using a Faith Warrior planner that is a faith layout, an older like SOAP method faith layout. But this planner is from 2019 and I just redated it. February is the very last month where I have to redate, because starting in March, the 2019 planners line up with 2024. So if you have an old 2019 planner in your stash, starting in March, you can definitely just use it just like it is, because those dates will match up March to March, April to April, and for the rest of the year. So this page is the cover page, and I added a couple of envelopes here just to put like some secret prayer requests. There's nothing in there right now. I did update this. I just cut out, actually I printed this sheet again and just cut out the dates and just updated January and February. But again, like I said, in March, this will be correct. Actually, I need to white out that 30. That should not be there. But starting in March, it should be correct. I'm also doing a scripture writing challenge where I write one Bible verse a day for the entire year. This is from, I just lost it, christianbook.com. And so that is there. I have a couple more envelopes here, but these are the verses for February. Yeah, christianbook.com. And so I obviously did not finish, but I need to finish that out. But I'll show you what it looks like where I write it out. So basically, I write out the verses here. And on this week, I basically put the verses that I'm writing and wrote here. And so that's kind of how it looks. And then the Faith Warrior Planner has like kind of these pages in between each week where you have space to journal. And so here is some sermon notes and then some study notes. Actually, these are all just sermon notes. And then this section I usually use for prayers, but I did not this week. And so I just took more notes here. And this is the cutout or like a picture that was on the front of our bulletin for church. And so I put that in here. And I don't know what this is a reference for. I must have taken some notes to want to look up these verses or these chapters and read through that. But it does have, like you can see here, the Faith Warrior Planner has this section to track some daily habits like reading, prayer, and gratitude, and then 3 more habit trackers. I have not been good at using this, so something for me to consider changing in the next couple of weeks. But one of the things about this Faith Warrior Planner was that I actually did purchase this used, which I didn't realize it was used, but it was a Faith Warrior Planner that I purchased off a D-Stash. And when I flipped through it, it was actually used. So there are some notes right here. I actually won't show this because obviously it's from someone else, but I did buy it used. And so when I realized that she wrote in it, I obviously just left the notes in there, and that's totally fine. I'm just kind of working around it. So the scripture writing here, I just kind of put over to the side instead of on Monday, I just moved it over. And so that's totally fine. And then one of the other things that I decided to do starting in February was start a new Bible, it's not really a reading plan. Well, it kind of is. It's Heart Dive, heartdive.org, I think is the website, but it's Heart Dive on podcast and on YouTube. And so Kanoe has been has been like posting daily videos with her commentary as well as her reading through the Bible. And so I've been listening to her. I mentioned in one video, I can't remember which one, but I don't actually like to just read the Bible by myself, like read it without the commentary. And so I've decided to pick it up with Exodus here, and just kind of catch up with the Heart Dive series. I was at one point caught up, and then now I'm behind again, but I just like listening to it with the commentary. It just helps me out to be able to hear some of the context. And so that's kind of what I started like right here on the 8th. Heart Dive, like I said, .com or .org is the website, but definitely Heart Dive is on YouTube. Right, and again, there's some pages in between. This was the notes. These were the notes from the person who had this planner beforehand, but I took some notes here. And then my kids do go to church with me, and so these were some of the things that they had at church. And then here, I took notes on the back of this page. We are at church kind of working through Genesis, and so I wanted to kind of take the Genesis notes on a separate page so that way I can store them separately at some point. Just the longer term plan is to kind of have a Genesis notes book, a notebook with all of my notes from Genesis. And so here's some additional notes. I'm going to try to squeeze that down here though, so that way it goes together on this one sheet. Right, and then here it is again, just like writing all my verses out. Right, this is blurred out because it's the prayer from the old person the former owner of this planner. Right, I won't show you the back because that's my the bulletin from church. This is something that Sophia made at church. Okay, I'll set that like that so I can put that together later. I'll have to blur that out just because those are actual prayer requests. Okay, and then again, that's what it looks like. We did finish Exodus and moved into Leviticus. All right, and then we had an event here, and so I won't flip through this, but here's a song, there are some Sunday school stuff for the kids. I'll blur this out because it has like some information about my church, but like we started a 2-week series on, just kind of thinking about like how the church can be an advocate for the nation. And so we've been talking about that. So this is 1 week, and then you'll see that next week as well. And you can see here, I just kind of ended, actually that might've been the second week. This is the second week. And so I did decide to switch into something different for March. I do need to catch up and like write the scriptures that I showed you at the very beginning. But other than that, it's kind of wrapped up. I'll blur this out just because there are some private prayer requests there. But that is all. And then I have an extra coloring sheet just in case I wanted that. Now, I will say that my reading planner, I ended up not doing at all. So even though it's in here, the pages are pretty much completely empty for February. I did like 2 weeks. Let me show you those two. And it ended up being like, I wrote it. Actually did this even like in January because it was for January. And then I finished up writing here and started Full Tilt. I did finish Full Tilt, but that's it for this planner. So I might go back in and write some notes here, but also, I just didn't use it, so maybe I should consider giving it up. This was a brand new planner for 2024, and I'm not in the habit of using it yet. So, there is that. Okay, so that was my reading planner. All right, this next one we're getting close to the end, I promise. This next planner I also did not use. This is my family planner. This is also new for me in 2024. And what I was using this for, it's an outdated vertical layout like this. And I was using it to basically track different like family related or friend related activities, notes, text messages, contacts that I have with my friends. And so I did do it for this week, and I think I might have done it the second week, and that's about it. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Right, I think I might have decorated, but I didn't fill it out. And then I stopped after that. So I did not use this except for that 1 week, as you can see there. And then this, I'm starting to clear out my phone. This is just kind of a fun thing to read old text messages. I won't like leave it on that, but like basically to read old text messages from my husband. It's just fun, I think. So I've been trying to like write it out by hand. It's just a fun, like kind of mindful activity. So I need to finish that up. But those two planners, the reading and the family planner, I definitely did not use to its fullest in February. And then this one is going to be my question and answer journal. So this one is something that we didn't use. I did start like dating it finally. But this is where I ask a question to my daughter, Sophia. She is 7 now. And so just for 2020, 2021, I didn't ask it, but in 2022, I asked her the question, what is your favorite place? So when she was 5, she said the park. When she was 6, she said home. And then when she was 7, she said, I don't have a favorite place. I like everywhere basically, but then she kind of thought about it and she said home again. So it's just nice to see the progression of her answers. And so this is set up for February. I don't really put stickers or anything in there. Sometimes I do put stickers like you can see here, just to fill in the space, but mostly it's just pen to paper for the question and answer. And then, like I said, it just runs across the entire row like this, and it's for 7 years. And so that is February, and that's pretty much it. And then now we get to the actual personal planning. All these other things were like specialty things. I definitely can drop or stop some of these things if I am overwhelmed and don't want to do it, but I definitely use my my daily planner all the time. Before the daily planner though, I do have like this weekly planner. Again, I don't use the monthly or any of these additional pages, but I have been in 2024 trying to track my time. I had this note here about how I just gave it up for a little while, but I did try to track my time. And so I do categorize it by like yellow is sleep, green is any kind of work or social media related things. The pink is personal, and blue is family time. And so I kind of split it between those 4 things. And I like to just kind of see the color, see where my time is spent, and just kind of make sure that I'm spending time with my kids and with my family and things like that, but also balancing it with like personal time and self-care and things like that. There's one other color, purple. Purple is like house chores. So those are basically the colors that I use here. We were on vacation for this week, so I definitely didn't use it for vacation. But then when we came back from vacation, I picked it right back up. And I did this. And I'm going to guess that I did not finish it for the last, I didn't finish it for the last couple of days of February, but I will go back in before I archive or like put these back into their regular planners. I will, finish these out so that way I can have it completed. But I do, again, just use it to track my time. And then after that, I do use my daily planner. Now, my daily planner is just basically a tool, letter size page. It is cut down or like trimmed down right here at the top. I trimmed the top here and then I trimmed a little bit down the margin so that way it would fit a classic size. It was an outdated planner, but I did just kind of trim it so that way it would fit in here. And I do just generally speaking have like these invisible columns. So this side normally is like events. And then I have one column that's food log, which here is like this side. And then I have one that's a to-do list, which would be right here. And then I have a 4th column where I just basically don't write anything. So that's kind of how I split it up. They do vary. They rotate around. Sometimes I just kind of use the entire page. So it's not necessarily that there's any kind of specific flow that I have to follow. I just kind of do it as I need to, depending on the stickers and the things that I kind of put on the page. I just kind of write everywhere. That's kind of it. You can see there's lots of white space too, because I'm using daily planning and it's a day on 2 pages. I don't necessarily feel like I have to fill out every single spot. I don't have to squeeze in the notes, which I actually like. I prefer having the white space over having it be very cluttered looking. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. I took some notes at my mom's house, so that's what that is. This is what the page looks like too. All right, I'll have to blur this out. This is something from church. Right, and so that's what that page looks like. And just flipping through this, like here we're getting into the vacation. So this one is the day that we traveled to Galveston, right? And then we were on vacation. This will look very cluttered, this part of it, just because I was taking a lot of notes. So yeah, it looks a lot messier than what I would typically use, but I did use my planner on vacation. So that's what these notes are. I was writing all the things that I wanted to do, but then I ended up not doing a lot of that. So that's why things are crossed out. I'm trying to flip through this fairly quickly. I'm realizing this video is very long at this point. All right, and then we're getting back home at this point. So we went to church, you can see there. And then, back to a normal week here on the 19th. It goes back to like more white space. Sometimes it's filled out, but usually it's like a lot more white space, and I like that. I do like just having the space. This one's probably a little bit too much white space for me, but I spent all day grading this day. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, this is right there. I have to work today. I have to finish all of my grading. And so that is all of this stuff. My husband went to Jacksonville, so I was with the kids all week by myself. All right. And then let's see. And then again, I decided to switch in March to digital planning. And so even though this week had also the first, second, third, and fourth, I ended up not using those pages. And so this is the last page of my daily planner. And that is the full flip through of my classic. All right, 2 more planners to go and we will finish up this video. Okay, like I said, I have 2 big planners that I also use, and just like I started off the video with, this is what I consider part of my functional planning. I don't actually flip through on this channel during these monthly flip throughs through any of the memory book stuff that I do for my girls. So those are part of my system as well, but not something that I flip through on these monthly flip throughs. These 2 are going to be my social media and my work, and I'm just going to flip through them in that order. So let's get to February. There's a bunch of stuff at the beginning here that I just kind of use to store stuff. But for my social media planner, I've been trying to use up my big pages. And so for my social media, I've been using these outdated teacher layout pages. And so this is the first week here. Here's the second week, very empty. I did very little in terms of YouTube or Instagram. I'm actually very bad at posting on Instagram too. I wish I had more of a consistent habit with that. But this is the week that I was on vacation. So there is that. And then this is the week after vacation. I also did not do a great job, but I took some notes. And then this should be taken together. And then this is the last week. Let me just take this out. I did not write in it at all, except for right there. But I definitely need to fill this out. Again, in March, I'm starting something new, so I don't finish out the week if I'm starting a completely new system. I just kind of end with the month. And so I'm ending here with February 29th. So those were the pages for my social media. And then here is my work planner. Now my work planner is actually a current planner. It is Celestial Elegance. This planner right here is the hello page for that. I'm trying to get to February. And so this is February right here. Let me actually move this social media planner. Okay, and so this is what February looks like. Again, I don't use the monthly here at all. All right, I started putting together these kind of like checklists or like habit trackers for myself. So it has weekly announcement, student outreach, advisor outreach, discussion board post, discussion board grading, and then major assignment grading. Those are like my big tasks for work. And so just being able to track that every week has been very helpful. I did base that habit tracker on this. And so, yeah, I did just basically convert it to a habit tracker. I love habit tracking, but let me show you this week, like in its fullness right here. This is what it looks like. All right, so I'll stick that page in there. And then this page, I'll have to blur this out. In fact, I'll take it out too. It's a resume that we got from someone. But this is what the week looks like right here. And again, the habit tracker is right here. I also did take some notes on a webinar, this one right here, I think, that I attended. That was just such good information about trauma. And so I took several notes here and actually even decorated it and everything. I thought it was really cute, so I put that in here. And then this next week is the week of the 18th. This week I was on vacation, and so let me show you what this looks like. I did put in my events here, but I didn't otherwise take any notes or have my habit trackers or anything like that because I wasn't working really. I was just grading. And so definitely I could have used the habit trackers, but I also just wanted to have vacation. And then this, I'll have to blur it out, but basically it's notes from the meetings that I was still running while on vacation. So these are the notes from that. It's just student names, but definitely don't want to have that on here. All right. And then I'm going to take this out. It's an email, and I don't want to show that, but it's just actually my bookmark, really. But this is the week of the 25th, ending the 25th. So I am back at work here, back at home. So I have a much longer to-do list. Back to the habit trackers. I use this section to track my work hours. And then all the meetings. I attend a lot of meetings, as you can see here. All right, and then the very last week here. Again, let me take this out. This is the last week. And again, because I'm starting something new, I did put in my meetings here, but I didn't actually use it to take notes. You can see here, I just kind of stopped taking notes on here. Same with this, although I guess I put the weekly announcement here, but mostly all the notes for March are in a different system. And I'm going to post a video probably maybe tomorrow or Friday about my new system and like updates to that. I also decided to take some more notes. This page, this side of it, is old notes from like way back in the day, but these are like some notes from a faculty meeting that we had, so I am including that in here. And so that's pretty much all the stuff that I've got going on in terms of my Franken planning slash work slash social media type stuff. So I do know it's a lot. There's lots happening, and you know, I'm just flipping through a bunch, but hopefully it was helpful for you to see how I plan. It's mostly functional. I do like to use the stickers, but it is for me to stay on track. The thing that I have to have is going to be at least one planner that is housing all of my notes. And for February, that was my daily planner. For March, I'm doing something different, as I've already kind of like mentioned here. And so I am looking forward to updating you on like how my March system is kind of working out. But I do hope that in the meantime, you enjoyed this video. Again, leave me any comments or questions that you might have about my system. I do know it's a lot. I do know that it might be a little bit more complicated than most people need, but I enjoy it. And I like having all the different compartments or planners for all the different areas of my life, so I do enjoy that. But again, any questions or comments, I totally welcome that. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.